Kickstart Your Coaching Edge podcast, where it's all about getting real around all things coaching.
And what we know for sure is that what got you here won't get you there.
You can't see the spinach in your own teeth.
And finally, hang on, because this one's really deep. Once you realize that you are the traffic, everything makes complete and unadulterated sense.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. All right. So today what we're going to be talking about from the Unfuck Yourself calendar is if you spend your life wanting to be happy, by its very nature, you're constantly starting from a place of unhappy. I love that. I'm going to read it again. If you spend your life wanting to be happy, by its very nature, you're constantly starting from a place of unhappy. And I love that. I mean, you hear it all the time. You hear people say, I just want them to be happy. I just want my kids to be happy. I just want to be happy, right? And so we have this desire, what is it? The pursuit of happiness that we feel is out there and somehow needs to be achieved or to be reached. What's that saying, though, is that you don't have happiness available to you right now.
It makes me think of like chasing happiness, but I think that was a Jonas Brothers documentary. But I think, but seriously, it's always like if you're chasing something, like then you're I don't know, you're never gonna get it. So what's the experience of joy that you're actually looking for instead of trying to chase something? Or I don't know, it just almost feels like it becomes like a Groundhog Day. Then what? Like, do you ever get it, or you just stay spinning on a wheel like a freaking rat?
Yeah, and it's interesting because you say, so I want to be happy, and then we'll sit there and we'll evaluate: am I happy or am I not happy? Well, you can just decide to be happy. You can just make that decision, and in this moment, you can be happy if you choose to. Oftentimes what people will do is they'll delay happiness. So when I lose weight, I'll be happy. When I meet somebody, I'll be happy. When I get through school, I'll be happy. And it's the when I, then I'll. That sounded weird, but you know what I mean?
You can call me Al.
Right. That was a little bit strange, but you can fill in the blank with anything. And what we're saying is I'm going to delay happiness until I accomplish something, succeed at something, or finish something. And so what that's saying is I'm not happy and I'm not going to be happy until I obtain something. But happiness has nothing to do with obtaining anything. It's all an inside job of just deciding today I'm going to be happy.
Yeah, and just be that. Because it makes me think, and just to go back for a sec about the chasing happiness or the pursuit of happiness, like that takes work. And then, it doesn't necessarily feel great, right? People get overwhelmed, people get anxious. And how much fun is it to actually be overwhelmed and anxious when you're trying to get happy? Like, right. It doesn't add up to me. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And it's just that, again, I just go back to this, and I'm finding this more and more and more in my life, is that you can just decide in a moment to be something, right? So I don't know if I've shared this or not about my posture recently, right? So talked about posture, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes my posture is not that great. And then instead of analyzing, what do I research? What do I do? How do I find a device to help me? How do I learn how to have better posture? I'm like, you know what? Screw that. I am just going to decide to be a person with good posture. And from that day on, I have been a person with good posture at times. Not 100%, but I've had way better posture than before I decided that. So it's the same thing. I remember once I was in a doctor's office. I'm like, do you know how hard it is to not eat cookies? And they're like, what are you talking about? You just don't eat them. I'm like, who are you and what planet do you live on? And what I now get years later is that she's just saying, just decide that's not who you are and be somebody different. And it makes so much sense, right? So lately I've been like, I've decided I'm not going to be mad. I've decided that I'm a person with good posture. I've decided that I can achieve impossible goals. And then I just start doing them. It's so interesting with the drama that's often in place of having to make a decision. And so if you want to be happy, stop.
If you want to be happy for the rest of your life,
Then what happens?
never make a pretty woman your wife.
Oh, hey, wait a minute. I feel like this episode just took a drastic turn. What are you saying, Karen? No, but yes, if you spend your life wanting to be happy versus deciding right now you are happy, you, by its very nature, are constantly starting from a place of being unhappy.
Yeah, and I think if you really think about it, that fulfillment will happen and joy will happen when you live a life that's meaningful to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm going to make a couple decisions. I am deciding that I am a person who reads more.
All
And I'm going to make that happen. I don't have to plan it. I don't have to calendar it. I just need to start doing it.
Just do it, because you know that I'm not planning that with you.
No, I know that, right? So Karen, but you do it without planning. You make lots of decisions and go.
I do, because I don't like to. I don't like that whole feeling of confinement and like, okay, I have to be at this place at this time. Like even last night, it's funny when you're trying to set up the whole Orange Theory thing when we were at the grocery store, and you're like, okay, I'll go this time, or I can go this time, or I can go this time, and what are you going to do, and what are you going to do? And then you're like, well, I'll just go at noon. And I'm like, just hang on a second, because I wasn't even thinking what my day looked like, because I don't know what the hell my day looked like today. And then I was just like, wait a second. So, I have a lot of flexibility in the morning. So do you. I knew you kind of want to go in the morning. Why don't you just go in the morning, and it doesn't matter when I go? Because I think you were more concerned about when I was going to be able to go. And I'm like, I don't care. I'll figure it out. And I still haven't gone yet, but I still know that I will.
Right.
So I don't need a plan. However, you work a lot better when you have a plan.
And in all fairness, we had someone to come to look at the water heater today. And so they were going to be there in a window. Like I feel like I need to explain to people, like I don't do that about everything. And we have two things, right? So water heater guy was coming today. And in Florida, we only have one car. So that being said, yes, all that conversation happened last night at the grocery store. And I really wanted to make sure I could get to Orange Theory. And I did have a tougher day. And you were great. You're like, you know what? You're a planner. You figure out the time. I'll work around it. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So stop being in the pursuit of happiness and just decide to be happy. That's it.
Done.
Bye.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to the Kickstart Your Coaching Edge podcast. Craving more in-depth discussions? Check out the Get Real Inner Circle with our no BS in-crowd of coaches.
Join live coaching discussions, breakdowns of coaching calls, and have some fun while you're at it.
You're going to want to go to kickstartyouredge.com/inner circle. It's time to get real.